Ooh, it's freezing. Good morning. So I am going to cast Ragnar Lothbrok Axe. It's taken me a while. Today I'm going to cast Ragnar Lothbrok Axe. As you can see, it's taken me a while to get it right. It's so annoying. So yesterday when I was making the sand cores, I mentioned that this was the one I'd printed and I was very pleased with it. Because when you first print something, you're super impatient for it to be perfect. And it nearly is perfect, except I'd forgotten the draft on these two surfaces here. So I went straight back in and started a new print. And the print takes 6 or 7 hours. And here it is, with the loft. Brilliant. But I completely forgot to put the core in it, so it's useless. Damn it! I printed it again, yay! So this is 0.1mm layer height. It's a rather beautiful thing. There's like quite a sharp stepping structure. You can hear that. So I'm going to do a bit of sanding this morning. I've got a 10-mile run to do this afternoon, and so I've got a couple of hours in order to prep for the casting, which I hope I will do after my run if I can still stand up. It is freezing, by the way. Have I said that already? It's got to be about -5 out there right now. Incidentally, right this second, I am printing another one of these, but I'm going to do it in 0.05 layer height, just out of interest. It's a print that's going to take 27 hours to print. And look at the size of it. It's tiny. I mean, considering how long it's going to take. But I'd be interested in seeing how different and smooth it feels. I don't often print at 0.05, unless it's tiny, but just because it takes so long. Right, quit the jibber jabber, get sanding. Hi friends. So I could just wrap it on like normal, or just voice over it like the pros do. I might publish a longer version with lots of chit chat at a later date, if it's wanted, but for now, as you don't want to see me sanding and then spraying the 3D printed part with filler and then sanding again and then respraying with filler, I'll do the voiceover. So while I'm doing all that sanding and filling, I'll tell you about where I first saw this axe. This is Ragnar Lothbrok from the TV show Vikings, and I've only just started watching the show and it is brilliant. The main character, Ragnar Lothbrok, is as hard as nails. He's a Viking and he likes to carry an axe around with him. This is the axe I'd like to make. Not only will I be casting the axe head in bronze, but I will try to make the rest of the axe too. That's the handle and the fancy leather strapping. So in order to recreate this amazing beast of an axe, I scoured the internet and did some Google searching and tried to secure some shots of Ragnar holding it. These were surprisingly difficult to find. I found a few companies making and selling official prop versions of the axe. The images on these sites were very useful too. So now I've got the images, I make a lot of measurements from them and then transfer those measurements into Fusion 360 in order to try and make a 3D printed pattern of the axe. This time I will be taking your advice and making the axe pattern include the shaft of the axe too, and then separately I'll use a sand core to fill this shaft volume to stop the bronze filling up the handle hole. So I'll need a pattern for the axe, plus a separate mould to make an accurate sand core, which will be the handle hole. This axe took me absolutely ages to design. It's a very beautiful thing, and is pretty accurate to Ragnar's from the show. The only thing I've done differently is to make it very slightly less fat near the blade. I thought the prop ones looked so fat that they were toy-like, so I removed about 1 millimeter of thickness on either side. Okay, I have the 3D printed parts, now I need to make an accurate sand core. So sand cores are a whole complicated subject on their own, and I'm just going to whiz through here. This is me making my sand core. That looks nice. I'll poke a few holes in it. 3 holes. Got my little cap. Alright, here goes. Yep, it's coming out. Yep, I can feel the CO2 coming through those little holes there. God, it just fell out. It just literally came out in one piece. Now the core is made, it's time to light the furnace and do some casting. Okay, I'm going to let you guys into a little secret here. This casting does not go well. In fact, it is a disaster. So I'll quickly show you just the highlights and then the disastrous results. My plan was to have these two big tubes as kind of feeders that would help the molten bronze flow around the core. And these core vents, there's steam coming off from those. I really have no idea. I just can't second guess it anymore. The more I learn, the more worried I get about the kind of nuances and details. When you first do it, you're like, oh, hooray, I've melted some metal, that's the first victory. Then you've managed to pour some metal, and then you worry about little, it just gets really, really hard and complicated. Massive fail.
Mission failed. We'll get them next time.
Look. Oh, gutted. I wonder if it was a bit cool, if it just wasn't hot enough. Obviously this was a problem, but I do remember when I sort of scraped the slag and stuff off, that it was a bit thick. It wasn't very runny. Oh, what a shame. I'll have to redo that tomorrow, I think. To cut a long story short, this casting probably failed because the bronze wasn't hot enough. I'd actually had trouble lighting the furnace, and in a minute when I redo the casting the next day, I realised that my air compressor has been squirting water as well as air into the furnace, which has been keeping its temperature too low. So it's the next day now, and I've relit the furnace, discovered it's been under par, fixed that, and now I'm going to start again. So here's the new plan. I've got the tapered sprue leading to the large feeder, and I've got two large vents at the end of the blade. I'm also going to put a lot of vent holes around the core area, and obviously I'm going to make sure that the bronze is as hot as I can make it. I also decide to warm the mould and the core. Hi everyone. What a long afternoon. So I had the afternoon off and I thought, great, I will crack this axe I've been trying to do. So I poured it in. I don't know, I don't feel good about this one. Time to have a look, I think. Now it's only been half an hour or 20 minutes. So I think it'll be very hot still and I'm expecting to have to dunk it in water. But let's have a look because I can't bear it any longer. Okay, let's do this. And relax. So when I poured it, it didn't come out of the two vent holes. Now it wasn't really supposed to, I think, but it would have been great to see some kind of orange glow come up there, and I kind of panicked and put some in, and maybe I shouldn't have done that. Let's just see how hot this is. 290. Yeah, well, let's see. Let's see. Hopefully it won't be a big puddle. OMG! There's bronze to there and there. And it went round the thing. Oh God. It might be alright. Oh my God. So it went around the core. Now you can see this weird thing. Let me show you here. See that bump? That's a little divot I carved. So here's the actual profile of the axe. This flat bit and this flat bit. But this was a channel I carved to make sure that bronze got from here through to the blade. Maybe it worked. Oh my God. Wow, that is exciting. Wow.
Wow.
Right, let me get rid of this lot. All right, here goes. Seems to have made it round. Oh, you can even see an impression where the plaster was. There's a picture of the core. There's a picture. I can't tell you guys how exciting this is. So, the sand wasn't very... Oh, let's tell you what. Before I count my chickens, let's take this core out, because this is where it's all going to go horribly wrong. So I used the special mix glucose additive, and it's certainly softer. Well, I never. So far, looks like I've got a proper walled hole. I think I have. So a bit of a messy casting as far as the sand was concerned. I should have put more water in it. This is because I've only done 4 or 5 or maybe 6 castings. I think my sand is getting a bit dry now, and today was the first time I noticed that. When I removed the cope, it had left a lot of kind of breakage behind, but that's okay. Hopefully I can just tidy that up with some judicious filing. Well, I never. Can you see that? That little square? That's where I stuck my little piece of sellotape. What a crazy thing. That is a fully formed, 100% perfect hole. No core blowout on that baby. That is amazing. Right, I'm going to quickly chop off the ugly bits and I'll be right back. Look at that. This, I don't know whether this made a difference, but you know, I don't mind sacrificing that little bit of bronze. I'll soon get rid of that. So here you can see where all the sand kind of broke on the parting line. But it's done it. The core did a brilliant job. I have to say, Perry, SW Dweeb, he really helped me out. I was throwing questions at him after my failure yesterday. I was like, Perry, help me. And bless him, he came through. He really helped me out. He answered about 1 million questions. I'm very sorry if I overstepped. But you've really helped me out, Perry. Thank you very much. I think your assistance really helped here. Brilliant. Well, now I can just get filing. I love this little mark I've got here from the sellotape. It's a bit thicker than sellotape. It's kind of, I think it's called Gorilla Tape. So it's a good 0.5 millimeter thick, but it's been rendered perfectly. I mean, how cool would it be to kind of use tape to put your mark on something? Oh, I'm so pleased. What I thought was a disaster has turned out to be just awesome. And the core, it looks great. God, it's so thin here, you know. 3 millimeters at the top. Right, I'm going to get grinding and tidy this up a bit. I got these leather scraps on Amazon, and I think it was about £6 or £7 for this. I think it's a kilo bag, and you can see you get all sorts of offcuts from some factory where they're making something, God knows what. But it's really nice quality leather. I think if I remember correctly, you could buy it by the different colour. So this is brown. I've also got these brown 5mm by 2mm proper leather straps, again from Amazon. And this is 2 meters and I think 5. I'm hoping I don't need any more than that because they weren't cheap. The plan will be to stain it, try and avoid getting it completely covered on the axe head. I don't think it's going to be possible to avoid it altogether because I want to get right up inside the little gaps. I mean, they are tiny gaps since I've wedged. I've also made this tiny little decorative cross wedge, which I will probably put in the middle there. But I don't know whether to do that later or before or after staining. So we'll see. Also, you can see the lovely different grain direction where I've put the wedge in. Quite pleased with that. So I could do it Swedish style and put it at an angle. But I don't know how modern that kind of angle is. I think I will probably do it straight on and dead centre if I can. But it's got a nice polished edge. It's got a kind of rough edge one side and smoothish on the other. Hopefully that won't fall out. It's not needed because this wooden wedge is actually what's stopping the axe fall out. That is absolutely rock solid. But I think to make it look pretty, it'd be nice to pop that little thing in there. The ebony or the dark oak. From all the stills, it's very dark. So there were very few shots in the TV series that I could find, decent enough photos that is, where the shot was it's sort of dead on. So I had lots of shots like this, sort of 3/4 or a slight angle. So I had to kind of guesstimate the width and everything. But the shape I think is correct. It's basically 2 circles and 2 straight lines at their tangents. And when you look at the TV show, it's very plank-like at the top, and then it becomes a lot thinner. And it kind of, I've made my one just go back out slightly at the base because I think that's nice for the hand. And it also sort of narrows slightly here, as this is where you'll be holding it down this end. And I guess this end is for the strength. If you miss and... So the plan is to stain it, get happy that the colour is right, perhaps put that decorative cross wedge in, then probably polish, final polish of this, just to get my fingerprints have tarnished it. Then put all the strapping on. I haven't sharpened it. It's blunt at the moment. It's not at all sharp. I don't know why. I just haven't got round to it. And it's such a beautiful shape that I didn't want to kind of wreck it by sharpening it badly. I'm not going to use it as an axe, so I probably ought to leave it as it is. But we'll see. Maybe I can sharpen it in another video. Right, I'm going to come back in an hour when these are dry. It's sort of between both. That's not dark enough. And that's not dark enough. That's too dark. And this wiped off bit is about right. I might do this black one and wipe it off, and maybe put a brown one over the top. It probably won't show up, but it's very dark. So I think the ebony is the one to go for. Oh, that's not bad. That's a nice colour. I think that's pretty spot on. That looks great. Okay, well, I think I'm going to leave that to dry. Right, I'll be back in an hour. But you can see that the wood there, it's darker on this one. So it's between these two colours, so I'm pleased with that. I think one more coat and it'll be more like this grubby version. Wow, so here it is after being in the house for a day and a half, drying. It's lovely, I love it. It's a perfect colour match. Tarnished side. So it will eventually look like this, I should think. But for now, I'm going to polish it up as best I can, then I'll put the straps on. Oh no, I need to re-expose. So this is the bad side. This is the side with the triple cross. This is the nice side. This will have the double cross. No idea if that's big enough. Come on. There we go. All right, so right, that is nice and tight now. That top bit's done. And then it just carries on. And we need a slit every time it crosses. Well, that's not so bad. So let's just do a mock up. I might go in and do this because it's cold out here. I'm going to do a mock up and do all this threading in the house, and probably unfilmed as well because you guys don't need to see that. It's just the same as what you've seen before. I've done the hard bit.